The Call of Duty 2023 conspiracy theory. Modern Warfare 2, Warzone 2, and DMZ are in shambles right now. There's been no core fixes or changes for multiplayer, same thing goes for Warzone 2, and DMZ just continues to become more pay to win as the days go on. On top of that, the Warzone mobile release date was pushed back from May this year until November 2023. Warzone mobile is going to launch with Verdansk, which is regarded by a lot of people as one of the best Call of Duty Battle Royale maps, which obviously has a lot of hype behind it, but it's kind of slowed down now since the game is being delayed. But if both of those things weren't enough, the rumors are also stating that Modern Warfare 2 Year 2 DLC is not happening, and instead Sledgehammer Games is going to potentially be developing a sequel game to Modern Warfare 2, which will be announced in August and released in November this year. Newer rumors and leaks are hinting at it being called Modern Warfare 3. Now, to be fair, I called this 3 months ago, so I'd like to think that I know what I'm talking about. Sometimes. Between the current state of Modern Warfare 2, the delay of Warzone Mobile, and the upcoming rumors and leaks for Modern Warfare 3 2023, this has led me to my own personal theory about how Call of Duty 2023 is going to turn out. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, I am terrified about what's going to happen to Call of Duty this year. And even though I don't like being the bearer of bad news, I have to share this information with you guys. Let's start specifically with Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2. Core gameplay changes like increased sprint speeds, slide speeds, ADS speeds, strafe speeds, nerfing the turtling in the game, truly nerfing the KV broadside, red dots on the minimap for firing your weapons, a rework of the perk system, and adding dead silence as a perk instead of a field upgrade are just a few of the core gameplay changes the community has been asking for pretty much since launch. Now, not all of those things have been around since the beginning of the game, but the fact of the matter remains, this community has been giving Infinity Ward feedback since before day one. There were creators that played the game early and gave them feedback and criticism of the game before it was even out, and they didn't do anything. So that definitely begs the question, are we just being ignored? Are the devs too lazy to fix core gameplay issues instead of microtransactions or minor issues that literally no one cares about? Or is there something else at play here? What if I told you that they are purposely tanking this game in order to sell the next year of Call of Duty? Especially because we're no longer getting a Year 2 DLC for Modern Warfare 2, and instead they're going to be selling us a brand new game. And this is not the first time we've seen this happen, because they literally did it last year with Vanguard. Call of Duty Vanguard was a relatively normal World War II Call of Duty game at launch, and it was fun to play for a while, but basically everyone in the COD community could tell, especially the zombies community, that this game was rushed out and it did not have enough content. And as time went on, Vanguard did get more content, but it went into a wacky direction, man. And that was most likely done because they needed to tank the reputation of the game, to make it look worse, to make it look bad in comparison to what was going to be sold next. It appears that Activision has decided to add something new to the Call of Duty cycle, and it's an extremely disappointing technique, all things considered. Modern Warfare 2 had an incredible launch, the best Call of Duty launch we've seen so far, and the whole community was rallying behind this game and giving it a great chance with tons of amazing feedback, with the intent of making the game better and more fun to play. But it's clear to me now more than ever that they have different plans, and the plans involve colossal piles of money. What could possibly be the reason for not improving the gameplay of Modern Warfare 2? The fastest selling Call of Duty game in history, the highest selling game of the year, and one of the most popular games in the franchise. What possible reason could they have to delay Warzone Mobile by almost half a year, when we were expecting to have the ability to play this game in a matter of days? Why would they ditch a Year 2 DLC plan for Modern Warfare 2 in favor of a new Call of Duty game? The answer is, drumroll please, $1 billion. Call of Duty, at least the mainline franchise games, will always be a yearly release. As long as Activision or any other publicly traded company runs the show, this will always be the truth. Because no one, especially a businessman, in their right mind would ever turn down an almost guaranteed $1 billion every single year of their life. But this is why it's sad. Instead of getting those sales by making the best product possible, you get those sales by converting trash into gold. They're making themselves out to be the Call of Duty Jesus, performing a miracle that will somehow turn Modern Warfare 2 into a beautiful masterpiece. But not in the form of a Year 2 DLC, no, it has to be a brand new game. It has to be Modern Warfare 3, which again is exactly what I predicted. What better way to sell the next Call of Duty game than by taking all of our valuable feedback and criticisms for Modern Warfare 2, and then just wait to do all of that for next year's game? It's the perfect plan from their perspective. Leave Modern Warfare 2 in the dust and make us pay another $70+ for all of the changes and improvements we've been begging for over the last half a year or so. And on top of that as well, you won't be able to access Warzone Mobile before Modern Warfare 3 comes out, so it can't steal the thunder of the next mainline COD game. Now, purely for the sake of playing devil's advocate, they could actually sell Modern Warfare 3 and give us the exact same stagnant, slow gameplay that we've experienced in Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2. But this could possibly make Modern Warfare 3 a much harder sell initially. Now, we as players don't have access to the specific data, but they, as the creators of the game, have to believe that skill-based matchmaking, or really engagement-optimized matchmaking, paired with the slow, spoon-fed, aim-assist-heavy gameplay, is retaining the larger casual player base of the COD community and keeping them on this game. And this is super unfortunate for all of us with functioning brains that can clearly see right through the bullshit of how skill-based matchmaking manipulates the matchmaking systems. If you're any good at Call of Duty, it gets really difficult to get heavily invested into multiplayer nowadays because of the lack of variety in the matches you play. And the simple fact that doing good and getting better at the game punishes you with little to no reward in return is sad. Minus ranked play, they actually did a good job with that. But I'm specifically talking about the typical 6v6 multiplayer experience in the game. And here's the thing, man, even if you are the best COD player in the world, with plenty of skill, great aim, and amazing map knowledge, because of these terrible systems put in place, people end up calling you a hacker, reverse booster, or VPN user to farm bot lobbies because they cannot possibly comprehend the idea of someone actually just being skilled at Call of Duty. Most likely because they're the ones being protected by skill-based matchmaking instead of playing a variety of skill levels in their multiplayer matches. But in fairness, we as a community have to stop pointing fingers at each other and instead point the fingers at the people who created the skill-based matchmaking system in the first place, which is Activision. They are the ones who filed this patent. This patent has language that specifically tries to match people who buy skins against people who don't buy skins with the intent of encouraging them to want to buy skins. Even though we obviously can't access the private data on how skill-based matchmaking works and how their algorithm works for matchmaking, this right here is public information. You can access it and you can see it for what it is. And you can come to your own conclusions about how you think skill-based matchmaking, or really engagement-optimized matchmaking, works in the newer Call of Duty games. Sure, older Call of Duty games had skill-based matchmaking, but the patents that has led these games more in the direction of engagement-optimized matchmaking was not filed until around the time of Black Ops 3. So basically every game before then did not have skill-based matchmaking that was nearly as strong or manipulative. But even though it might seem like Activision has some kind of evil master plan, there is just one tiny little mistake that they might have made. They are leaving this grand plan in the hands of Sledgehammer Games. Now, while I do currently regard Vanguard as the worst Call of Duty game ever made, I actually have some good things to say about Advanced Warfare and Call of Duty World War II. But even then, historically, Sledgehammer Games COD titles do not overperform in terms of sales. And to be perfectly fair, whether you think Sledgehammer makes good or bad Call of Duty games is not really relevant to Activision because they only care about money. So really, if Sledgehammer Games is taking the charge at developing Modern Warfare 3, Activision just wants to see that game generate money. It doesn't necessarily matter if it's a good or bad game. So yeah, if this really does end up being a sequel to Modern Warfare 2 like the leaks and rumors are hinting at, then I would assume that Infinity Ward could possibly have a heavy hand in shaping how this game turns out because they've been having more success than Sledgehammer Games in recent years. Infinity Ward has traditionally always been tasked with creating Modern Warfare games as well. Though interestingly enough, Sledgehammer Games actually assisted with the development of the original Modern Warfare 3 campaign. So maybe it's all coming full circle here. But at the same time, the dev teams have gained and lost a lot of people over the years. So that might not have as much of an impact as we're thinking. If we really think about it, Modern Warfare 2019 was the start of the new era of Call of Duty. Black Ops Cold War was made by Treyarch, and it didn't exactly follow in the footsteps of 2019. But then we had Call of Duty Vanguard, and that game ran on the exact same engine as Modern Warfare 2019 and actually shared a lot of similarities to Modern Warfare 2019. So there might be some kind of possibility that there is a synergy between Infinity Ward and Sledgehammer Games that we just don't know about. Either way, if we take into account the rumors of Call of Duty 2023 being a direct sequel to Modern Warfare 2, which is most definitely going to be Modern Warfare 3, then I think it's safe to assume that Infinity Ward will be offering some kind of helping hands to Sledgehammer Games with this year's Call of Duty, and possibly even Treyarch as well with the Zombies mode. The leaks and the rumors have hinted that this game is going to have Outbreak 2.0, which honestly is terrifying news because Treyarch needs to put all of their time and attention into Call of Duty 2024 and make that game the best game that it can possibly be, and this is just going to be a big distraction for them. And this could lead them to just rushing the Zombies mode out just like they did with Vanguard. So if you're a Call of Duty Zombies player, I would be very cautiously optimistic. I know you haven't had any new zombies to play with this last year of Modern Warfare 2, but still, if it turns out to be garbage, do not accept that. We as a community deserve better. But with all of that being said, what is important to keep in mind is that regardless of whether COD 2023 is a good or bad game, there is a 100% guarantee that there will be another yearly Call of Duty game after that, and the year after that, and the year after that. No matter what happens, the COD cycle will just continue over and over again. We initially had hope that things would be different, and that Modern Warfare 2 was going to have a 2-year life cycle with a brand new Year 2 DLC coming out later this year, but that dream is dead. And if a game like Modern Warfare 2, which had the best launch in COD COD history can't even do that, then it's just never going to happen. So before you buy Call of Duty 2023 and the battle passes that it will inevitably have, and the hundreds and hundreds of skins that they will definitely be pumping out, really think hard about whether it is worth your time and money to invest in this game. Now, if you like it and you're happy with it, then go for it. But after this last year of seeing no core gameplay changes, over monetizing the battle pass, making DMZ pay to win, and pumping out thousands of dollars worth of skins into the store, I know that I'm more hesitant than ever before. As a Call of Duty YouTuber, it's basically a guarantee that I will buy the new Call of Duty game every year because this is my livelihood. The same way that they guarantee they're gonna make a new game every single year because that's their livelihood. But that doesn't mean I'm going to idly stand by and not call these things out when I see them happen. This also unfortunately means that I'm not going to get as heavily invested in a new Call of Duty game when I know it's going to be phased out in less than a year's time. And it doesn't matter if we're talking about a time investment or a financial investment. Overall, it's just not worth it at the end of the day. People want to get invested into good games, and until they can prove that making the best COD games possible is their end goal, they've lost me. For Activision, which is a publicly traded company, money is their end goal. That is really their only vision at the end of the day. But for the entire community, us as players, people who love Call of Duty, that is not what we care about. And every single year that they continue this pattern, it just becomes more and more apparent that our visions do not align. Now look, I will always be a massive fan of the franchise and passionate about wanting to see the games get better and improve over time. But sadly enough, it just does not seem like that is also their vision. Their main focus is clearly dollar signs. And until that changes, I can't see that bright of a future for Call of Duty.